Cool. Okay. Now we are continuing with our project. Guys, we are writing, I'm showing you how to write a code to parse an MP4 file. We are learning how to parse an MP4 file, how to write a C# code that is going to parse an MP4 file. So we have been looking at F-type box, and if you are following or watching some of my videos, there are videos about F-type on how to get the information out of the F-type box or the F-type object of an MP4 file, and what content does this object contain. And I have code where I show you all of this. Today, or in this video, I am going to look at the box called movie header. We're looking at the movie header, which is the box that contains information that relates to the entire presentation of your file. Here you get content such as the creation date, when the file was created. Well, you can use Windows to see the creation date of an MP4 file. You can also use maybe, let's say, you can also use some of the built-in .NET object to get the date at which the file was created. But sometimes you may not receive the entire file. You may receive the file, for example, where you are streaming, and you may be interested in knowing when the file that you are receiving has been created. So you can only be able to do that when you are receiving a file that is being streamed, because the file that is being streamed, you actually do not know where it's coming from, and therefore you cannot be able to save it into your hard drive, because there are a lot of things that you don't know, like which that you're going to need in order to be able to do that. Where now, if it's in your hard drive, you can use the built-in .NET objects to be able to get things like a creation date. But here I'm showing you to be able to parse this file, so that even if you receive it in small chunks, streamable small chunks, you are able to go through these objects that make up your file and get that information. So here we'll be looking at the Mvhd and the content that is contained inside it. There's a lot that goes on inside this object, but today we're going to look at one property, which is creation date, the date at which this file was created. This object is a content object, but it is contained inside another object, and the object inside which this object is contained is called the move object. And the move object is an object that is directly on the file, that is on the first level of boxes. As I have explained, that the way an MP4 file is structured in a family tree like manner, where there are boxes at the first level, there are boxes at second level, boxes that are found inside other boxes, and the hierarchy goes on like that until you get to the end of the file. So now here I am going to look at the Mvhd, which is found inside move. So here I am opening a file, this file, and then I get the first level boxes, and I check the name of the box. As I go through these boxes, I check the name of the box that I am currently viewing, and if it's an F-type, then I'll run this code. It's where I will be actually passing the F-type. But if it's move, this is where I'm going to come, and then we'll go directly to the code of move. So here, because move is a container box, we know that there are other boxes that are inside it, and this is where we get all those boxes that are inside move. And again, we check the name of the box. If it's Mvhd, then we run this code. It's where we call this method called Mvhd. That is where we're going to get all the content that is contained inside the Mvhd box. Does that make sense? So now I am going to write this code, because I've already written all the code it would be a very long video for me to write this code while recording. So I already wrote this code, so I'm just going to take you through it. So here we're going to start by running this code. I'm going to put a breakpoint. Let's put it here, and then I'm going to start debugging. Boom, there we go. We open the file. Now we're going to go through the file. I'll just go skip to go directly to this code where we check the box name. If this box, the current box, is move, it's going to come inside here. So it won't come inside here because it's F-type. So here there's no breakpoint, so that means we won't be able to go through there, because we don't actually need to go through this part of code, as there is a video where I am showing you this. Now we'll go to the next box. Let's remove this one. We'll go to the next box. The next box on first level is UID, so we'll skip it again. The next box is Mvhd, we'll skip it again. The next box is move, so here it should come inside this to go to get to the get move box, which is where we're going to be able to get the content, the box that we are actually looking, because the box that we are looking is actually stored inside the move box. So we have to go through the code that passes the move box, where we're going to get the actual object that we are looking for. I don't know if I'm making sense. If I don't, and there's something that you don't understand, you can just comment and tell me what you don't understand. So I'll go through here. As you can see, I'm going to the get move method, and I will be supplying the bytes that actually define that move box. Cool. So the first thing that we're gonna do, because we need to know how big this move box is, we also need to know the name, or we will also need the 4 characters that define this move box, as we are going to create an object of move, and then we need the name to specify the name when you create that object, and also we need to specify the size. That is basically how our code is structured. This is Mvhd, where's move? This is move. So we are actually creating an object, or we will be creating an object of this class, and then we will supply this information. There are other properties here. There's timescale, there's volume, there's rate of play, but they are not here yet. I will keep on adding them. But for now, we just want this Mvhd, because what we are looking for, the content that we are looking for, which is creation date, is found inside the Mvhd. Now, we were going through our code. Cool. We'll read all of that. I will just also continue here. So here, as we were reading the children of move box, we were also checking the name of the child box of move box, and when it's Mvhd is when we will now go through the code of getting the content out of the Mvhd object. Cool. Let's quickly go there. We're getting the box size buffer, the box name. So I've been explaining this in all of my videos. Let's continue to get to version, to flags. Now we are creating an object of Mvhd. Create the object of Mvhd, supplying the box size and box name, because we already have them. Cool. Now we have this object, but now this object does not contain the creation date yet. As you can see, the creation time is one of the properties of Mvhd. So we are going to do that. So the ISO standard says that the creation date would be from 1904 on 1 of January, on the 1st of January midnight, and we use the UTC time time format. We use the UTC time format. So we create a date time object that has those values, because this is where we want our date creation to be calculated from. This is basically the reference of calculating this creation date. Does that make sense? So the Mvhd can come in different versions, and if it's version 0, then the values of creation buffer and timescale, which timescale is not part of this code yet, they are actually 64 byte, but if no, they are actually 32 bit, which is 4 byte. But if the version is 1 or is greater than 0, then the creation time would be 64 bit, which is 8 byte. So let's see, the version here is 0, so we are expecting this code to execute this part of the code. That makes sense. So we create creation buffer because we're going to hold the 4 byte that would be containing the timestamp, the creation time timestamp. Does that make sense? The creation timestamp, and then we read those buffer into creation time buffer, and these bytes are actually in big Indian. That is the in big Indian, the byte at the highest, or the first byte, is actually put first. The last byte is actually put first, and the first byte is put last. So in order to get the correct correct number, you will have to reverse those bytes, and then you can now convert them to an integer. So here we reverse them, and then we create or we convert them into an integer, which is the timestamp, timestamp. Now, to get the creation date, we're gonna have to add that timestamp. We're gonna have to use the add second timestamp, and then supply the creation timestamp that we have calculated from the bytes that we receive from within the Mvhd to get the creation date. What we are trying to do is to convert the timestamp, which is in number of seconds, into a date object. Does that make sense? So we use add second. Now if you can hover over here, you'll find that this file was created on 2023 on the 2nd of May at 10 past 9 in the morning. Does that make sense? So this is how you get the creation date. Then you can display this creation date to the user. You can use it anyhow you want to use it. But the most important thing is that you now know how to actually get that data out of the MP4 file. Does that make sense? Cool.